Hey YouTube, Jay Fretless here with another video, another camera unboxing video. 2022 Cyber Monday, as one does. I was searching for some deals and I came across a post on my favorite deal website referencing Canon. Camera company was having some Cyber Monday deals on directly from their website. If you don't already know, I've been a photographer for over 20 years. I'm not going to say that was a full-on professional, but definitely a serious semi-pro, amateur, whatever. You can put adjectives there, but it is what it is. Anyways, so I've been a Canon shooter for a majority of that, if not all of that time. I do shoot with other brands. I am not a brand fanatic, but definitely my primaries have been always Canon. Film Canon days at the start of the digital revolution, digicams, what have you. Then I bought a Sony mirrorless because at the time Canon didn't offer a mirrorless option. So I went and bought a Sony A6000, their little NEX camera, and was using that as a supplement to some of my larger Canon DSLRs. So fast forward, I kind of settled in a couple years ago with a Canon 7D Mark II, and my first Canon full frame DSLR was a Canon 6D, and then I had the opportunity to trade that 6D for a 5DS plus cash. So with the 7D Mark II handling the speed I need as far as frames per second, and the 5DS handling the megapixel side of it, if needed. I kind of settled in on those two Canon DSLRs and ran with those for a few years. And to this day, that's my my pair. If I'm shooting an event or something, I'll have both of those cameras, each having a special or a niche, depending on what I need. So, anyways, the deal that was listed was talking about the Canon EOS R and the Canon EOS RP, which are Canon's first foray into full frame mirrorless, DSLRs. Is that a misnomer? Mirrorless camera, mirrorless interchangeable lens camera. Anyways, so the deal was Canon RP. You can get a refurbed model directly from Canon for $5.99, and or you could get the Canon EOS R refurbed from Canon for $8.99. But if you bought the EOS R, you get a battery grip thrown in for free, which quote unquote is $250 value. So after doing a quick summary of a refresher of what each camera offered, I decided to go with the Canon EOS R. The Canon EOS R, it's not a brand new camera. It was released in 2018, September of 2018, or the announcement at least was in September of 2018. And the RP came out was announced a few months later. Different sensors, although the megapixels between the R and the RP are similar. As I understand it, the R uses the 5D Mark IV sensor, and then with the RP they had a new sensor. The R is faster than the RP, 8 frames per second versus 5 frames per second. But I figured with the grip, because I knew I was going to buy a grip anyways, because every Canon DSLR that I've ever used or owned, if there was a grip for it, I used it for the second battery and just for the ergonomics. So I knew I was going to buy a grip anyway. So getting the EOS R, it just seemed like the way to go. So at an $8.99. So I quickly, you can do a search on YouTube about the EOS R, and you can put 2022, and there are multiples of videos talking about using the EOS R in 2022, effectively a 4-year-old camera, and there shouldn't be an issue. And people are standing by this camera to this day, regardless of its age. So in comparison to the Canon 5DS, that this won't be technically replacing, but sort of it will be replacing. That has a 51 megapixel sensor, and but only shoots at 5 frames per second. So I'll lose a few megapixels. I think this will fit really nice between the 7D and the 5DS, but not just between them, as in on the same level, but kind of a mix of the two in a way. I should see. Oh, and then the 5DS was announced in 2015, so we're already 7+ years. But again, age doesn't necessarily matter, because camera still works and still very effective. Okay, so this is what you'll get in the refurb. Okay, there were some reports on the forums questioning whether or not Canon is just sending brand new cameras as refurbs, and I can't. I'm not really. Maybe a younger self would have quickly ran and tried to look up the shutter count, but I'm not really in a hurry to do that. Anyways, and another another big reason that I went with the Canon EOS R is that it uses the same batteries, the LPE6, as the 5D and the 7D Mark II. So I don't need to buy new batteries. So there's the strap. There's the battery. So some of the drawbacks that people talk about this camera, you can, it's debatable whether they're drawbacks or not, depending on your use case for this camera. Is the bigger one is it does shoot 4K video, but at a crop, almost like a 1.75 crop. So you can probably work around that, but I don't see myself shooting 4K video. I'm more of a stills photographer. I know I vlog, and I have a vlogging camera, a DJI Pocket 2, which does. I'm not going to be carrying this around, pointing it at myself. But there are people who do, but I won't be one of those people. Oh, and the second drawback people talk about is there's only one card slot, an SD card. Both the 7D Mark II and the 5DS that I'm coming from have 2 slots, and if you use good cards, good name brand cards bought by reputable dealers, I've never had a card fail, knock on wood. There's been a couple times where I filled up the previous card and it had to, fail over, not fail over, dump, dump, dump the new onto the SD. I usually shoot compact flash, and then but that comes far few in between. So I'm not worried about that. The other the thing that people like to complain on is this touch bar. It's kind of a I don't know what the technology is. It's not capacitive, but there's ways of getting around that, turning that off, locking it, or making it more difficult for you to accidentally hit. So this the big difference, because this is mirrorless, Canon went with a new mount. Most of previously it was the EF mount, Canon EF mount, for many years. I'm just gonna tilt you down a little bit. And so with the mirrorless, they introduced this RF mount. So what do you do with all the EF glass? And being a photographer for over 20 years, I've collected many EF lenses, both the cheaper ones, the mid-grade ones, and then eventually you get to a point where you can justify and afford the L lens. So I've built up a nice collection of lenses, EF lenses. So I went on the site and looked, and they had a mount, EF to EOS R mount, and it was refurbed. So instead of $99, it was $79. So they have different versions of this. This is just the basic one. You can buy the one with the control wheel in the mount adapter, but I just chose to go with the basic one for now. And at $79, it should be fine. Yeah. Let's just put that on there. So one thing, so I'm thinking I'm all set, right? So I paid $8.99 for the camera, $79 for the adapter, and they threw in a backpack, and they threw in the grip. So I started looking at how people liked the adapter. Did the adapter work with their EF lenses? And there was no real complaints. The only real complaint was that it adds about an inch onto this camera. So now you have this, you have a big, say you have a 70 to 20, 2.8 hanging off the front of this thing with the adapter. Aesthetically wise, it just kind of looks funny. Not that really, should matter, but so I started poking around, and you quickly see that the RF glass, the RFL glass, is very expensive. So this is always cool. So whenever you buy a Canon grip, it always has a spot for your battery cover. Put your battery cover in. Okay. And like I said, it was supposed to, this is like a $250 value. And people say, well, there's all these, third party battery grips now, and yeah, that's fine for some people, but I always buy if there's a grip available for the Canon camera, I'm buying a Canon grip. I'm not messing around with these third-party grips. Not that it, functionally is probably that much different, but definitely, I'm going with the Canon grip, and I always have. So, anyways, back to the lenses. The Canon RFL glass is way expensive, and if you need it and you don't already have L glass, go for it. But I started looking on the website. Well, then I started looking at the consumer level primes for the RF mount, and I saw they had the 85 f2, the 35 1.8, and the 50 1.8, and they were still a little bit, $400, $500, $300, $100 something for the nifty 50. So I kind of hesitated, and was just going to go completely with my EF glass. But then I went back to the Canon website, and I saw that they had refurbed lenses. And some people might balk at buying refurb lenses, but if you know me, that my whole photography lifestyle has been trying to find deals and buying things used, because money wasn't in abundance, especially if you can get away with a used item versus a brand new item. So anyways, for Canon, part of this Cyber Monday deal, they had a bunch of lenses on refurbed. So I went ahead and I pulled the trigger on a RF 35 1.8 IS STM. STM is for the the smooth focusing for video. The 85 f2 IS STM, and then the 50 millimeter 1.8 STM, the nifty 50 as they call it. So I went with these, and there was a pretty huge discount for the refurbed. We're talking, so these three lenses refurbed from Canon ran me $738.78. So let's just So what's cool about these lenses, so this is the nifty 50, they have this control ring, so you can assign different functions to this control ring. Wait, is that the focus ring, or is that the, maybe the 50 doesn't have the focus ring, focus control. Maybe it's focused by wire. I don't know. I'll have to. So I figure between these RF lenses and my current stable of EF lenses, and then there's other third-party adapters for other types of lenses, I'll be okay. I think I'll be in more than capable hands. Okay, yeah, so here's the 35 1.8, and see how it, there's the focus, and then this is the control wheel. However, focus or control. Okay, so I think that switch is you can switch it, focus and then control. Okay, and then sorry. Maybe down the road when the RFL glass, comes down in price, or I find it that, I can justify it, then maybe we'll talk about that. But stabilized. So here's the control ring, and here's the focusing. Okay, so another pet peeve of mine is lens hoods. So these lenses didn't come with lens hoods. So, of course, you can buy third-party knockoff lens hoods on Amazon or eBay, but that's another one of my little pet peeves. I just can't. If there's a Canon lens hood, it needs to be a Canon lens hood. I know it's weird, but some people, you know, have hang-ups, and that's my little hang-up. So I purchased lens hoods for each of these. So the 50 uses the EW52, and I think the 35 uses this one, the ES65B, and then the 85 uses the ET77. So now that cost me about $100 for the lens hoods, $900 for the camera, $1,000 for the camera. I think I had it on that paper, but yeah. So $1,060.32 for the grip and the body and the adapter, and $738 for the 3 lenses, and then $100 for the lens hoods. So now they're really talking for under about $2,000. Even if I didn't have all the previous EF lenses, you're pretty much ready to go with the Canon mirrorless full frame. This is full frame, by the way, if I didn't already mention it. It wasn't obvious. With the new mount, of course, like I said, it's a little bit 4-year-old camera, but that doesn't mean anything. There's an R5, an R6, I think an R7 and an R10. I think the 7 and the R10, the R7 and the R10 are crop sensors. The 5 and the 6 are different flavors. I think speed-wise they're a lot faster, but the smaller megapixels. But they're $2,500 plus. And there's an R3 that's almost $5-6 grand. So $899 for my first full frame mirrorless. I don't think you can beat it. And then you get the grip. I bought the adapter. I can use all my old glass, and I just took an opportunity to buy some RF glass, and we'll see how those go. If they're faster. They got the built-in IS, smoother maybe for video. They're quieter if I'm gonna record video off this thing. It just seemed like a no-brainer, and yeah. So this is a little Christmas gift to myself. It should be fun. Should be fun stuff. I might kind of spark my my photography thing, because it's been kind of got other hobbies, so it moving up a little bit. It is what it is. But yeah, I don't know if the deal's still going on. I'm sure they got inundated with a lot of purchasing. I think there's a lot of people who are going with the RP because of the price, and most of the people that were going with the RP, they don't care about the grip, but I did. So as for it being a refurbed model, how does it look? I mean, it looks pretty good to me. There's an electronic viewfinder, so you're obviously, because there's no mirror box, pentaprism, or so it's all electronic. You got the top display. The RP removed that top display, so yeah, now with the grip you can put 2 batteries in. That's a little cheaper than they used to be. So nice. It's a lot lighter. This one's about 660 grams without the grip, and my 5DS is 900 grams. So nice weight reduction. It looks very, very clean. It has a mic, headphone jack, and a bunch of different video features that. Oh, and then this will do C-Log. C-Log is short for Canon log. It's just a kind of a. I don't want to misspeak, but it's basically kind of a raw type video output where it makes it easier to grade. Some of these videographers, they have some really great looking video, and during their post processing, they like to start off with a kind of muted, raw type of video output, and then from there they can build their grading levels of grading and make it really contrasty, cinematic, whatever, depending on what the look they're going after. So this will do 8-bit C-Log 1, I think is, but then I think you can get a 10-bit output through the HDMI output, and if you feed the video out through that HDMI port into a storage device, I think you can get 10-bit output raw. So yeah, there's plenty of videos on getting into the weeds of the specs, but this is what I bought for Cyber Monday, and we're gonna have to do Christmas pictures, family Christmas cards. So I'll definitely be using this and seeing how that goes. And so I think I'll be good for next a few more years. As for the other cameras, I'm still going to hang on to them. The 5DS, not that I really print huge, still 20 more megapixels, and kind of a niche camera in itself, right? I think it's still the highest megapixel Canon SLR, so DSLR. So good stuff. So this whole system, I'm under $2,000 for another data point. When you're watching these videos about Canon EOS R in 2022, everybody's talking about buying a Canon R for $1,400 still, $1,500, or buy one used over $1,000, $1,100, and who knows how many shutter clicks that thing has on it, or what the condition is, or what the condition of the battery is. So that even made this deal even more attractive in my eyes, and so far, I mean, as I unboxed it, I haven't seen any gotchas or what the hell is this kind of thing, or everything looks pretty clean. Like I said, I've bought and refurb most of my DSLRs. Have been used or refurbed, to be honest. I think my first Canon 10D was new, 20D was new, 40D was new, but as I mixed in my 7D Mark II, I think was new, but I bought some 1Ds, the original 1D, 1D Mark IIN, 1D Mark III. Those are all used, and yeah, the 6D and the 7DS were definitely used. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. So if you were one of the lucky ones that got in on this deal, or you bought the RP instead of the R, let me know in the comments what you think of it, and what else I think people were buying the M50, the smaller vlogging type camera that they have, and the mirrorless, but the smaller version, not the full size stuff. Yeah. As you can see, if you're new to my channel, I bounce around with the subjects. My channel's small enough. I can't justify having separate channels yet. If I ever will, I don't know. But I'm just trying to get content up, build up the view hours, hopefully, earn a subscription, subscribers here and there, and try to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you like this kind of content, I kind of mix it up, but it's mostly photography and sports cards right now, and some music stuff thrown in. I'm a collector. I have many, many hobbies. I have many, many ideas for videos, show off some of my collections. But one video at a time. So with that, thank you for watching, and until the next video, bye.